The Brad Lloyd, and today I'm going back to basics with a video all about smart switches. Smart switches are one of the fundamentals of any smart home. They may not be as exciting as 16 million colors in a smart light or the booming bass that you get on your Apple HomePod, but they really do add functionality and convenience to any smart home. Smart switches can be quite the investment simply because there's so many switches in our house that need to be replaced. If you're making the commitment to upgrade to smart switches, then it's one you're really going to want to put a lot of thought into. If you're like me, this is a process that's going to happen over many months and even a couple of years. It's a favorite pastime of mine, and I have a habit of sneaking in the odd Lutron Switch here or there into my Amazon cart. Wait, what? How did that get there? You probably don't want to spend more money than you need to, but you also want to know that you've chosen a reliable switch that's not going to be obsolete in a few years. So what do I use? I use Lutron Caseta. Lutron's a trusted company that's been making lighting products for a long time, and they have a great reputation within the industry. I have about 15 Caseta switches throughout my home, but they are known for being at the higher end from a price point perspective. That makes me wonder, am I paying too much for these smart switches? So today I'm going to compare 3 different smart switches at 3 different price points to help you make an informed decision. And if you like what you're seeing so far, then please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel so you can find more videos just like this. Up first is Meross. I'm really excited to try this one out because this one was only $25 on Amazon. $25 for a HOMEKIT Smart Switch. Maybe I really have been paying way too much. I can't wait to find out how well this one does. The next one I'm going to try out is Belkin Wemo. I got this one for $50 on Amazon, and I have some Wemo smart plugs, but I've never used their smart switch, so excited to see how this one does at $50. Last but not least is Lutron Caseta. I've already told you this is the one I use, and I absolutely love it. I already know this is going to do an amazing job. But it cost me $65. That's considerably more than the other two. So let's see how the Meross and the Wemo stack up against the Lutron Caseta. So what should you be looking for in a smart switch? Here are some considerations. Setup. Is it easy to install? How easy are the directions to follow? Is there customer service if you need help or support? And is a neutral wire required? Ease of use. How easy are these switches to use every day? A lot of times, yeah, you're going to be using Siri and you're going to be setting scenes, but sometimes you want to just flick that switch on or off. And how easy is that to do? And how that feels is going to be an important consideration when you're living with these lights every day. Having a functional app. Most of the time for me, I'm using the Home app, but still nice to know that there is an app that's easy to use. Maybe you need to install a firmware update, or maybe you're going there because there's some different automations or more advanced scenes that you can set. Future-proofing. This is another thing that you're going to want to consider. You want to know that these lights are going to last you in the future. It's a lot of money for these switches, and wiring can be a lot of work as well. We're already seeing the craze of thread. Everything is thread. And no, there's no smart switches that I know of right now that have thread in them, but it's only a matter of time. Responsiveness and reliability. This has got to be the most basic and the most important. Do these switches actually work? And do they work every single time? Whether you're using Siri, you're on the Home app, or you're at the switch itself, it's so important that these switches work every single time. Honestly, that's one of the reasons why I love Lutron Caseta, because I've never had an issue with my lights not working. They always work instantly, right away. I like to stick with what works, but again, we're gonna test this out and see maybe these less expensive options work just as well. So all these switches are straight on and off switches. There are dimmer options available. These light switches also all require a neutral wire. So a neutral wire is that white wire at the back of the electrical box that brings power back to the electrical panel. Now, Lutron Caseta does have a on-off model according to their website that doesn't require a neutral wire. However, I wasn't able to find it. I know their dimmable switches don't require a neutral wire, so you might want to just go with a dimmable switch, add some dimmable bulbs. Even if you don't use that dimming functionality, that might be the best way to go for you. So just something to keep in mind when you're out there looking for what smart switch is right for you. In terms of connectivity, both the Meross and the Wemo are Wi-Fi based. They work off of the 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi band. And the Lutron Caseta, you need a hub for it, and the hub connects your light switches through their own Clear Connect technology. One more thing about the Lutron Caseta, and that's their Pico Remote. So this is a $20 optional remote control. You can get it even less than $20 if you buy it in a package with an existing light. And it's really just a remote control that connects to any other Lutron Caseta. It works off of a battery power. Lutron says the battery lasts about 10 years, so I've had some for 2 years and they've been good so far. And you can just put this wherever you want. So I have this little stand for it, which is convenient if you want it on a desk or a table. You can also buy a separate light switch for it, just an adhesive light switch that can go anywhere you want. So maybe there's a place that you wished you had a light switch, but you don't. No need to spend money on an electrician to come out, just add a Pico Remote and really, really easy. For three-way switches, you're also gonna add the Pico Remote to that second switch. So if you've got one set of lights, then one light switch is going to be wired with your Lutron Caseta. In that second switch, you're just gonna cap and then put a Pico Remote in. So really easy and just a nice added benefit of Lutron Caseta. Safety first, turn off the power. So the first switch I set up was the Meross Switch, and I found setup was simple, and I found the directions to be easy to follow along. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find a tech support number, which could be frustrating for somebody who needs help real time. If you have a problem and you need to contact Meross tech support, you have to go to their website and file a ticket. This could be pretty frustrating if you're looking to get your issue solved right away, but instead have to wait a couple of days. These switches look nice and they turn on and off very nicely from the switch. The LED light is nice because it only lights up when it's on, so it's not gonna bother you at night. I like it to be completely dark at night, and I've had issues with LED indicators on other devices lighting up the entire bedroom. The Meross app does the trick and it's functional, though fairly plain. The app allows you to set up some basic scenes and automations, but ultimately I think people are going to lean towards the Home app and just set up their automations and scenes in one place. In terms of responsiveness and reliability, I had no issues here. These lights worked exactly as you would expect them without any noticeable delays. I tested the switch from the switch itself as well as from the Home app and through some scenes that I had set up and activated with Siri. Next, I installed the Wemo Switch, and I found the little booklet that came with the Wemo was actually really easy to follow, probably the easiest of the 3 switches that I tried today. It was fairly simple to set up, although it did take me a few attempts as I received an accessory not found message for the first couple of times, but ultimately did get it set up. Wemo has tech support available 6 days a week with slightly reduced hours on Saturdays, so it's nice to know that most times if you do need help that there is somebody that you can call. The Wemo Switch also resembles a traditional Decora switch, but it's flatter than the Meross, and it has an LED indicator that stays on whether the light is on or off. The one thing I didn't love with this switch is it's a little bit loud when turning the light on and off. It's not super distracting, but it's definitely noticeable. The Wemo app is nice, but I'm probably not using it for anything other than setting up my accessory at the very beginning and then updating firmware. The app allows you to set up some basic scenes and automations, as well as an optional long press option where you can trigger other Wemo accessories if you wish. Wemo also has an optional away mode that will turn accessories on and off to make it look like you're home. In terms of responsiveness and reliability, these worked perfectly. I had absolutely zero issues with turning these lights on. They were quick and they worked every time. Last but not least is Lutron Caseta, and to be fair, I have set up so many Lutron Caseta switches that it's really become second nature. There is an extra wire that you have to deal with here, but that's because it can also be used for a 3-way switch. The instructions were well laid out and easy to follow, and Lutron's tech support is open 24/7, which I think is awesome. You never know when you might have to call tech support at 2 a.m., right? The Lutron Caseta is a flat switch with 2 buttons, an on and an off. It's simple to use, but I would say it's not as tactile as the Meross or the Wemo. The Lutron app isn't as graphical or pretty as the Wemo app, but it's very well organized, and this is helpful especially if you have a lot of Lutron accessories. Like the Wemo app, Lutron also has a smart away feature that allows you to turn lights on and off to make it look like your home, which just is a really nice security feature. In terms of responsiveness and reliability, I'm a big fan of these lights. These work for me every single time. So some other considerations with smart switches, and one of them is ghosting. No, this is not when your lights just stop talking to you. This is when your lights can't completely turn off. They'll stay on very dim, almost like a night light. With smart switches, there's always a bit of a current that's going to the switch. Your light isn't actually turned off all the way because your light switch needs to be able to communicate with your router or your hub, and sometimes the lights are just so sensitive that they don't completely turn off. Most of the time, this can be fixed simply by replacing the light bulb to a different manufacturer. I've had this problem before, and that's always helped. Another issue is flickering and humming, and this happens when lights are typically dimmed very low. That's at least when you'll notice it. In most cases, again, you can just play around with the light manufacturers that you have and test out different lights to see what works for you. I've gone through a lot of different lights before I found ones that work for me, and I will link those in the description. Now, Lutron Caseta does say that this problem can be fixed by changing out one of the LED bulbs to an incandescent light. Now, I don't know, I feel like that kind of defeats the purpose a little bit. And also, if you're like me and you like a cooler temperature of light, like a 4,000 to 5,000 Kelvin light, then adding a 2700 incandescent light just doesn't really look super consistent. That's just me, just something to consider. Okay, I've been wanting to add smart switches in our closet for a long time, so I'm so happy to have gotten that done. I can't tell you how many times the kids have left for school and forgot to turn the lights off. We also have a hue dimmer switch installed in each of the bedrooms that turns the lights on and off. I programmed the off switch on these dimmer switches to turn the closet lights off as well. So presumably, as someone's exiting the bedroom, they're gonna hit the off switch and it's gonna turn off not only the main lights, but the closet lights as well. So I think that's gonna be really nice. Overall, all 3 of these light switches are good and they're gonna add value to your smart home. And to be fair, I have been using Lutron Caseta for a couple of years, and I've been using the Meross and the Wemo for a few days. But I'm very surprised how well the Meross and the Wemo stack up against the Lutron Caseta. For someone starting out, I wouldn't have any issues recommending any one of these smart switches. So am I paying too much? Honestly, I might be, but I do love the Pico Remote, and you can't argue with 2 years of having no issues with Lutron Caseta. But I am absolutely impressed with the Meross at only $25. $25 for a HOMEKIT Smart Switch. This is such a great option, especially for someone who's on a budget. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. And I encourage you to leave a comment below about this video or smart switches in general. I love hearing your feedback. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.